Surprise, irritation, even some degree of amusement. We're seeing a number of reactions in Sweden today to some eyebrow-raising remarks by Donald Trump. Let's remind you first what the president said at a rally Saturday in Florida.
You look at what's happening in Germany. You look at what's happening last night in Sweden. Sweden. Who would believe this? Sweden. They took in large numbers. They're having problems like they never thought possible.
Well, a suggestion there that Sweden had just been hit by a terror attack linked to its immigration policies, or that it had been hit by a terror attack at all. Swedes were baffled by what he meant, lighting up Twitter with the tongue-in-cheek hashtags Je suis Sweden or Pray for Sweden and Never Forget. It's no laughing matter for the Swedish government, though. It says it's working with U.S. officials to prevent inaccurate information. I mean, it hurts the country, obviously, if you say that terror attacks happen routinely, because it hurts visitors and tourism. Mr. Trump says he based his remarks on a TV report and blames the media for the blowback. He tweeted this today: "The fake news media is trying to say that large-scale immigration in Sweden is working out just beautifully. Not." Now, let's take a look at the facts from the Swedish government. Sweden did steadily accept more asylum applications since 2012, reaching more than 100,000 in 3 years. But keep in mind, the total only makes up 1% of Sweden's population. Crime did go up, but not through violent crime. The U.S. State Department says it's because of computer-based fraud, so not rape, not murder, not assault. The rate of sexual assault since 2012, the number did rise overall, but from 2014 to 2015, if you look at the numbers, the rate of violent crime actually dropped. A former prime minister of Sweden didn't mince words on Twitter when responding to Mr. Trump's remarks. Bildt wrote, "Sweden? Terror attack? What has he been smoking? Questions abound." Bildt is also a former foreign minister of Sweden, and he joins me now live from Stockholm. Thanks for being with us, Minister Bildt. First of all, you tweeted something else today. Last year, there were approximately 50% more murders in Orlando, Orange County in Florida, where Trump spoke the other day, than in all of Sweden. Bad. I mean, people are laughing about it on Twitter, but not everybody thinks this is funny.
No, I mean, it was difficult to know how to react to it, but you can joke about it. You can say that he's completely off anything that has to do with the facts. At the same time, there's a serious element to it. We are used to see the United States as the most well-informed person in the world. And suddenly we have these outbursts of misinformation directed against true friendly countries. And that is, of course, somewhat disturbing, has to be said.
All right, so when you first heard what the president said about Sweden, about a terror attack, what first went through your mind when you heard him say these words?
Oh, I said, this has to be something wrong, because it was a friend who came to me and said, did you have a terror attack? And we heard that the president said something. And I said, not possible. I haven't heard a thing about that. And then slight surprise, to put it in diplomatic terms, when I saw what he said. And then the need to react to it with an amount of irony, needless to say. But it was also important to make clear that this was wide off the mark, to put it mildly. And then he blames it on Fox News. Well, we expect the President of the United States to have sources of information that goes beyond Fox News.
Some supporters of Donald Trump, Mr. Bildt, have said, oh, this is just the government of Sweden covering up what is really an assault and rape epidemic committed by immigrants, that this is just a big cover-up. How do you respond to that?
Well, he can ask the American embassy in Stockholm or ambassadors or whatever, and he can get the facts. But let me make clear. I mean, I was prime minister of the country some decades ago when we took 100,000 refugees from the Bosnian War, Muslims, most of them. Of course, there were some initial problems. It's always a challenge. But today, if we look at it, they are as integrated as everyone else in this country and are making a good contribution to the development of our society and our economy. Has been a net contribution, I would say, to our country. So I think the overall picture that we see, who are here, is actually a positive one.
And what about relations going forward? I mean, Donald Trump is the U.S. president. He's in the White House. You know, he'll say things that upset traditional allies like Sweden. So how do you think a government like the government of Sweden should deal
Yes.
with President Trump, the US president, going forward?
They should, and he should deal with us, and he should deal with other allies, and allies and friends are friends and should be kept as friends, and allies are allies and should be kept as allies. Yes, of course, there are other situations around the world that could be tense, even dangerous. And then if there are words coming from the President of the United States that has no relationship whatsoever to the facts, then things could easily turn significantly less amusing very, very fast. And that does worry me as a matter.
So you think you're worried on some level by Donald Trump as president?
I'm worried about aspects of it. At the same time, we in Europe, of course, there's been Vice President Pence. He's been to Brussels today. He was in Munich. I saw him in Munich the other day. We reassuring words from him. But at the same time, these sort of outbursts of misinformation and slander is not really contributing to the overall prestige of the presidency of the United States. And that's worrying and should be worrying more than us.